Hi. In this session, we're hoping to give you a quick overview of how we are using Google Docs at Kincoppal-Rose Bay School. Our school decided to use Google Docs, which is a subset of Google Apps, with some of our students this year. The idea really was to get to know it and to make decisions about Google Docs for the future. We like the idea of students being able to use Google Docs within our domain. What this means is that students, in order to use it, have to log into our domain. So it gives that extra level of security, and it means that we have more control over who uses this environment. So if I sign in, I use my normal school username and my normal password. And you can see that we've got our logo displayed there, which instantly gravitates the students. Just like to mention before I go there that we did spend some time with the students setting up their Google pages, which they really enjoyed, and it gave us an opportunity to talk to them about the sort of stuff that you can pick up on the web that really isn't suitable in an educational environment. So let's just go straight to Google Docs at this point. Now you can see a variety of files and folders in Google Docs. I'd like to give you a little bit of background, however, as to how we set our students up just before we talk about the files that are on display there. As I'm an administrator of the site, I can click on the Start page here. And at this point, I need to manage this domain. And then I get the opportunity to create new users on this page. You can see that we've got 98 users at the moment, and we've been given an allocation of 100. I think Google Docs is keen to see that you're actually using it before they give you open slather in this environment. Now I can add students individually, or even better, I can create multiple users. We started out with our Year 9 students. We have about half of Year 9 at this point in time having a look at Web 2, and we thought that we might start them off with a little icebreaker activity. So we had approximately 45 students hitting this PowerPoint at the one time. Just take a look at it up here. We created a slide or two, and then we asked them to add following our pattern. We were being fairly careful in this environment about providing very much information about ourselves and getting that message across to the students as well. So it was not quite PowerPoint. There was a bit of flickering as the page updated. At times it was disorientating. Text appeared, disappeared, moved, and so on and so forth. But all of this, we believed, was outweighed by the advantage of being able to mass edit. And I guess what we really need to do here is to think about what the purpose of the tool is. Ultimately, if we wanted a PowerPoint presentation, we were going to use the desktop application. In this case, we were interested in sharing and getting the students to share. Next, we divided our students into smaller groups of 3, and we asked them to decide upon one person who was going to create a document and then invite the other 2 to share. So that was a question of going new document, and once that document was there, all it required was just to click on share, and then the students selected, because of course they were included within the domain, they were able to choose from contacts and select 2 students with whom they were going to share the document. Straight away the students started to play with the formatting. They inserted an image very easily and were generally very impressed with how easy Google Docs was to use. They saw great potential for this outside of school if they did have to share work, and they were genuinely excited at the prospect of doing that. Finally, they downloaded the file to their own computers to save on the network, and you can see here the variety of file formats that are available. PDF is one of those, which is of course very handy. At that point they took the Word option and had a local copy. Another very useful thing that you can do with your students is you can upload a document that may already have been started that you may want students to finish, or they may have started something that they actually want to get collaborators involved in. That's just a question of clicking on upload. note for the different document types, the file restrictions. And probably at this point in time should mention that Google Docs allows you to share spreadsheets, presentations and documents. Now, not huge, as you can see, the size of the files that can be uploaded, but then I don't think that that's what the idea of Google Docs is. I think it's more of an environment for collaborating rather than an environment for working on very large files. So if we just go back to Google Docs and we have a look at one of the spreadsheets in there, which is loading and open. Okay, now one of the interesting things that we can do here is we can check the revisions. And of course, this is always of great advantage to us as teachers because we can in fact check the progress our students have been making along the way. Another very useful tool that to me seems to have great potential for our students, although we haven't used it with them yet, is the form. The form allows you to ask your students questions, so you may want to survey them, and those questions can be disseminated either via email or via a web interface. Now, I created one a little while ago, which I will show you at this point in time. So this is the form that I created. As you can see, I've got a variety of question types there. I can add text down here, or I can check as many as I need to check here, click on the radio button that applies here, and so forth. If I want to add another question, that's just done by clicking on Add Question. And then if I do want to email it, I click on Email this form, and then I get the opportunity to email it to the students. However, we find that the students don't always check their email at school, so if that's not the way we want to go, we can in fact go we can embed that form and put it onto our intranet and provide it to the students that way. Now, the form automatically generates a spreadsheet, and as soon as the students respond, the spreadsheet is populated in Google Docs. So this is the spreadsheet that has been generated by the form. You can see here that my questions are sitting there in the header, and of course I'm getting the response from the students. So let's go back to the presentation that we began with to show you how the publishing can work. If we go to publish, you'll see here that it's only going to be published within our domain. Now again, we can either choose to distribute this link, or if we prefer, we can actually embed it on our intranet. This little e-spot was designed to give you a quick taster of what Google Docs is like. It might not be for your school at this point in time, but it's well worth having a look at. For example, you mightn't be happy sharing files online. You mightn't want your students to word process and rely on an internet connection. Nevertheless, it's always good to keep an open mind and to know what's out there. Thank you.